Not everything fits into your little spreadsheets, Madeline. The scent of pot roast, my mother's specialty, hung heavy in the air of the farmhouse kitchen. My childhood prison. My hands trembled, subtly adjusting my ill-fitting sweater as my father spoke, dismissing my painstakingly crafted college budget. Inside, I was screaming. Outside, I remained composed. That night, as the fireflies blinked outside my window, the email arrived. University of Chicago, full scholarship. A silent promise, a rebellion brewing, ever felt unseen. Hit like and subscribe for a revenge story that'll leave you cheering. Trust me, the tables totally turn, and it gets sweet. October 12, 2005. Chloe's 16th birthday. A sleek, cherry-red convertible sat gleaming in the driveway, a gift she shrieked over with delight. I received a set of well-worn encyclopedias. For your studies, dear, my mother said, her eyes already glazed over by the spectacle of Chloe's joy. The metallic tang of envy mixed with the earthy scent of old paper. Spring 2008, the County Science Fair. My project, a miniature wind turbine built from salvaged parts, actually worked. Chloe's volcano, spewing baking soda lava, earned a participation ribbon. Their praise followed her like a shadow, mine was a fleeting ray of sunlight. While they lauded Chloe's enthusiasm, I nursed a silent victory. Then came the final straw, summer 2009. The scholarship offer, my golden ticket. Dad announced, Chloe needs you here. Her voice, dripping with fake victimhood, echoed his sentiment. Stay, sacrifice, disappear. That night I packed my bags, the weight of their expectations finally lifted. I would leave, but not unseen. The roar of the L train became my lullaby. My studio apartment, barely bigger than a closet, felt luxurious compared to the suffocating expectations back home. Nights were spent hunched over textbooks, the glow of the laptop illuminating my face, a beacon in the urban darkness. I ate ramen noodles, navigated icy Chicago winds, and worked odd jobs between classes. But I was free, a seed pushing through concrete. My first internship at Tech Fusion felt like stepping into another world. Sleek offices, collaborative workspaces, and a culture of innovation. There, I found mentors who recognized my potential, who saw beyond my quiet demeanor to the analytical mind beneath. I thrived, devouring knowledge and exceeding expectations. Each successful project, each glowing performance review, added another layer to the wall I was building between my past and my present. No gratitude, no guilt, no explanation offered, just the quiet hum of accomplishment. 5 years into my career, my savings hit 6 figures. $138,000, a fortress against their potential need. Each dollar a silent rebuke to their constant dismissal. I imagined their faces if they knew, the shock, the confusion, the grudging respect. But the knowledge remained mine, a strategic advantage. A card to play or not. The invitation arrived via email, Chloe's wedding. A flurry of saccharine words and thinly veiled guilt trips. Stay away, never. This was more than a reunion, it was a confrontation with the narrative they desperately clung to. I booked my first-class ticket, a silent declaration of independence. The weight of the decision settled over me, a mix of dread and anticipation. My return was imminent, and so was the potential explosion. Now the farmhouse loomed, a monument to their skewed reality. My black SUV, rented for the occasion, crunched on the gravel driveway, a stark contrast to Dad's beat-up pickup. I took a deep breath, smoothing down my tailored dress. Act casual. My heart thumped a nervous rhythm. The front door swung open, revealing my mother's strained smile. Madeline, you made it. Her hug felt stiff, perfunctory. You look different. A subtle hint of disapproval in her tone. Inside, the house buzzed with activity. Aunts gossiped in corners, cousins shrieked, and Chloe, draped in white fabric, reigned supreme. My father clapped me on the back, his eyes darting to my expensive luggage. Good to see you, Madeline. Glad you could take time off from your spreadsheets. The familiar jab sent a jolt of anger through me. Deep breaths. Maintain control. Later, at the rehearsal dinner, the atmosphere was thick with forced merriment. Elliot, Chloe's fiancé, a slick-haired man with a predatory grin, held court, spouting jargon about cryptocurrency and disruptive technologies. My alarm bells blared. Be polite. Observe. Gather intel. During a quiet moment, Aunt Helen, a wisp of a woman with kind eyes, pulled me aside. Madeline, dear, your parents, they've refinanced the farm. Put everything into Elliot's investment opportunity. Her voice trembled. I'm worried. My blood ran cold. It was time. The clinking of silverware against china ceased. A collective breath held. "What are you talking about?" Chloe's voice, usually bright and bubbly, was sharp. I took a slow sip of water, letting the silence stretch. "Elliot's investment opportunity is a scam." My voice, calm and measured, cut through the tension. "And I can prove it." "Prove it," Elliot scoffed, but a bead of sweat trickled down his temple. "And what, pray tell, qualifies you to make such a judgment?" "My spreadsheets," I said, a ghost of a smile playing on my lips. "And a few other things." I set down my glass. "Like my degrees in mathematics and computer science from the University of Chicago." A gasp escaped my mother's lips. "Chicago? But I never went to community college, Mom." I fabricated that entire story. I continued. "I have been working at Tech Fusion for the past 10 years, where I am now head of product analysis. My team builds algorithms to detect fraud, among other things. I make a salary of $287,000 per year, and my savings currently exceed $750,000. The numbers hung in the air, stark and undeniable. My father's face flushed crimson. He opened his mouth to speak, but no sound came out. Chloe stared at me, her carefully constructed world crumbling before her eyes. Aunt Helen simply nodded, her expression a mixture of relief and vindication. "All that time," my mother's voice was barely a whisper. You thought I was wasting my potential," I finished for her. "That I was content with mediocrity. That I was still that quiet, insignificant girl you always overlooked." I stood up, the power dynamic in the room irrevocably shifted. "I am not that girl anymore." Elliot, sensing the shift, attempted a desperate charm offensive. "Madeline, darling, why didn't you say something? We're practically family. Surely we can discuss this like adults." His eyes darted nervously between me and my parents. "Discuss what, Elliot?" I countered, my voice steel. "How you plan to swindle my family out of their life savings." "I already have." I pulled out my phone, displaying a detailed report I had compiled on Elliot's fraudulent activities. "It seems your disruptive technologies are more destructive than innovative." The silence that followed was deafening. The pot roast sat untouched, a symbol of a fractured reality. The wedding, the future, everything hung in the balance, suspended by the weight of my revelation. Days later, the phone rang. It was my mother, her voice trembling. "Madeline, he's gone. Elliot, he took everything." I paused, letting the silence amplify her desperation. "Everything?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "The savings, the refinance money, all of it. We're ruined," she wailed. "Please, Madeline, you're the only one who can help." A wave of satisfaction washed over me, quickly followed by a cold detachment. "I warned you," I said, keeping my voice even. "You laughed then, you're not laughing now." "But Chloe, what about her future?" My father's voice cracked with emotion. "Can't you just fix it, like you fixed those spreadsheets of yours?" "Chloe made her choices," I replied, internally steeling myself. "As did you. I will provide legal counsel to help recoup what you can. I can recommend a financial advisor for restructuring your debt. But I will not simply erase the consequences of your decisions." Chloe, suddenly on the line, attempted a different tactic. "Madeline, please, we're sisters, don't you have any compassion?" Her voice dripped with crocodile tears. "You can just loan us the money, we'll pay you back, eventually." "Eventually," I echoed, a hint of amusement in my voice. "The same way you eventually acknowledged my achievements." "Or eventually apologized for dismissing my dreams." I paused. "Consider this a lesson, Chloe, in due diligence and in trusting the wrong people." "So that's it, you're just going to let us lose the farm?" My father's voice boomed through the receiver. "You chose to gamble with the farm, Dad. I'm simply letting you experience the consequences. The farm, or the spreadsheets, as you so lovingly refer to them, will need to learn to coexist. I will not let my success continue to be your safety net. You have to learn to fly on your own." I took a breath. "However, if you and Mom decide you'd like to learn about financial literacy and responsible investing, I'm willing to mentor you." The silence that followed was heavy, punctuated only by their ragged breathing. "I have to go," I said, ending the call. "I have a garden to tend." It was time to cultivate my own growth, not theirs. The frantic ringing of the phone jolted me. My mother again. I closed my eyes briefly, then answered. "Madeline, the bank," her voice hitched, "they're foreclosing. We only have 30 days to vacate." I exhaled slowly. "I see. You said you'd help," she cried. "You said legal counsel." I did provide legal counsel, and very expensive counsel. "They explored all options." I paused. Perhaps it's time to consider downsizing. Downsizing. Where will we go? This farm has been in our family for generations. You understand that, right? I do, I replied, my voice carefully neutral. It has history, value, and potential. A slow smile spread across my face. Which is why I took the liberty of purchasing the mortgage from the bank. Effective immediately, I am now the sole holder of the note on Hayes family farm. Silence. Then a strangled gasp. You bought the farm. Her voice was barely audible. Not exactly, I corrected. I bought the mortgage. There's a difference. Think of it as a strategic investment, Mom. I could almost see her face, a mask of disbelief and simmering rage. I had control, complete control. What does this mean? She finally choked out. It means, I said, relishing the moment, that you will be paying me the mortgage. At a slightly elevated interest rate, of course. One that reflects the considerable risk I am undertaking, and under strict, legally binding terms that I set. You would, her voice rose in pitch. Wouldn't I? I countered, my tone light. Think of it as a family discount, below market value naturally, but with performance incentives. House stays in good repair, lawn stays pristine, animals continue to be cared for, no new debt assumed, and I might consider a small rate reduction. However, should any of these things fail, the interest rate will increase incrementally. A stunned silence followed, then Chloe's voice cutting through the line. You manipulative bitch, you planned this all along, didn't you? You let us suffer knowing you could save us. Planned, I simply saw an opportunity, I corrected, my voice smooth as silk. And acted accordingly. As you always encouraged, Mom, I learned the meaning of working hard. I can lend support if you're willing to learn. This is cruel, my father rasped. Cruel, I echoed softly. Or simply equitable. You see, Dad, everything does fit into my spreadsheets, including the value of family history, the cost of bad decisions, and the power of leverage. And I'm not convinced you won't need my help in managing the spreadsheets of the farm. I paused, letting the weight of my words sink in. The farm is safe, for now, but its future rests entirely in my hands, and more importantly in yours. This is a business transaction, nothing more, no family ties or obligations to consider. I ended the call, leaving them to grapple with the new reality. My phone buzzed with a notification from my financial advisor. Transaction complete. Welcome to the world of farming. I smiled. The garden was waiting, and I had a new field to cultivate. This time, it was their dependency, and the slow burn of their resentment would fuel my next harvest. A year drifted by. The Hayes family farm, now under my financial thumb, showed signs of begrudging prosperity. My parents and Chloe, after initial resistance, begrudgingly adhered to my meticulously crafted repayment plan. They still called, often with thinly veiled requests for leniency, but I remained firm, their pleas met with polite but unwavering refusals. My diploma, no longer hidden away, hung in my home office, a silent testament to my long-fought battle. Looking back, I realized the true revenge wasn't their financial dependence, but my own liberation. I mentored young women now, sharing my story and my knowledge, empowering them to define their own worth, not to seek it from others. The garden flourished, a vibrant tapestry of colors and textures, mirroring my own growth. In the end, some bridges remained broken and some wounds never fully healed, but I was free. I was powerful. I was me. Revenge served, right? Now, share this if you've ever felt underestimated. It's proof success, not bitterness, wins. Grow your garden, darling.